Welcome back, Officers of the Republic, as your Coruscant Underworld Police Chief APGAINS here, joined by the exact opposite of APGAINS. We've discussed a celebrity boxing match, so I decided to bring him on here. I got my chalky milk so that we can get through this. We have Xaereth, who occasionally prevails. I hear you occasionally prevail sometimes, Xaereth. Is that so?
Uh, I've been known to participate in such happenings, yes.
All right, we are going to talk about a bunch of things. This is going to be more of a discussion-based thing because Xaereth, a well of information. APGAINS, a well of nonsense. Hopefully it goes together really well. We're going to start off with power creep because power creep is inevitable in any sort of game in the mobile game format. You kind of have to keep having something bigger and better, or else the people who pay to play your game are going to find ways to, like your alt account where you can go big game hunting, for instance. And that's not great for a business model of a mobile game. So power creep tends to be inevitable. We just got the executor. As everyone knows, that's the big thing. If you didn't post an executor video the last couple days, your videos got 0 views. But it seemed like it was in a good place. There was a couple of difficulties where it was a little bit too fast to go before the other bounty hunter ships. So some changes are probably coming. But apparently it does not perform as intended, i.e. it's not powerful enough. Do you think that it needs to be more powerful just to start off with? Do you think it needs a little boost, or is it in a good spot right now? You did some testing.
So I think that, I mean, a lot of people struggle with the idea of performance, and like this is new. This is a ship that no one really understands yet. I do think that maybe they need to tone a few things down. Like honestly, if they made it just a little less fast, like that would actually maybe even like they could almost solve it by nerfing it a tiny bit. Because the thing is, if you have your executor go first, then your the rest of your fleet, like you basically have to do the basic because the
Mm-hmm.
other two abilities aren't being used. Like they're not being used to their best impact at least. And so a lot of it stems from like the people with 5-star executors are beating people with 7 stars really, really easily because they get that ult first because they can actually use meaningful specials the first time executor goes. So I think it could use a tweak or two. It's funny to me actually that it's even an issue. Like they clearly tested at the top, maybe, or maybe they didn't. I don't know, but I think they maybe tested it at the top, but they didn't test the interactions between like 5-star executors versus 7 stars, which I don't know.
I think
Better that they correct it now.
there definitely is a problem there because like for the devs versus community, like we're getting maxed accounts, same mods. I feel like they only test in like these artificial, like sterile environments, which is why the community can tend to find counters because not everyone has the same modding on certain characters. Not everyone has the same characters at Relic 8 or Relic 7 or whatnot. So I feel like they definitely kind of set themselves up for failure in that aspect. Is like not everyone is going to have a 10 million GP account. Some people are going to have this ship at 4 million GP, 5 million GP, 6 million GP, where they're not going to have 7-star executor day one. So that is, I did struggle a lot more against the 5 stars than I did the 7 stars for the exact reason of the basic on turn 1. I found that hilarious. So the Super Kraken in my Fleet Arena Shard was quite upset that he spent that money. But moving on, Executor, I think we can agree, should be a top of the meta ship. What about characters? Like, we have almost 6 Galactic Legends once Vader comes to the game. I think we're running out of Galactic Legends level characters from a lore standpoint. Of course, CG doesn't care much about lore these days with the Lord Vader requirements being pretty self-evident of that. I mean, Bad Batch really had a great arc. So did Zam Wessel with Anakin's fall to the dark side. So do you think we're getting a step up? Do you think they're going to revert back to more Gas, Jedi Knight Luke, Darth Vader level characters to kind of shore up where the meat of the game is? Or do you think it has to be these ever-expanding, powerful, unbeatable teams that you can't beat for a couple months until the free-to-play players start again? What do you think is going to be the next step for Capital Games?
I thought that they were ramping up to just kind of like shove Galactic Legends to the side and open something new. And instead, they kind of just doubled down on Galactic Legends being the legendary characters that they think they should be. I mean, You say that we don't you think we're about out of characters and stuff, and from a lore standpoint, that may be true. I still think we've got another 2 or 3 years worth of them, though. I mean, we could have like entire Endor group is untapped. Like we don't have
That's a good
General
point.
Solo,
That's a good
you
point.
know, Leia. There's all kinds of Leias out
Hmm.
there that we could use. Jabba would be Galactic Legend worthy. I think most of the players would get behind that. Then you could always go Old Republic or with the new like the High Republic nonsense that are happening.
Some
We
visions,
we could go, yeah,
some
like
samurai
Fat
galactic
Boba.
legends.
Yeah, like Fat Boba might work. Like he could just like be a character with Zam, like they're just like smashed in one little like screen,
Hmm.
and they're just like one character. Yeah, I mean, you could go anywhere with it. I do think that maybe they're going to start. What I really like is that they provided some context for us actually. So, like, I don't know about you. I was my main account. When I got Bo-Katan, I was so disappointed because she doesn't kill the meta. Like,
Hmm.
she just doesn't kill it. Like I'm always looking for off meta counters, which are going away pretty soon, or at least
Yeah.
a lot of them. And so that's the lens I saw everything through. So I was like, man, she can't kill anything. And then once I kind of dropped my expectations of what she was gonna do, then now she's really good. She's a really central piece to my strategy
Hmm.
in 3v3 and 5v5. But I mean, maybe that's a little bit of a tangent, but I do think that it's nice that CG was able to, in some ways, like they're good and bad about this update, but I do like that they're setting expectations. Like Galactic Legends aren't intended to be killed by the likes of Bo-Katan Kryze, her ilk. Like the woman who lost the dark saber is what she
Exactly.
is. So
And then
you
almost
know,
got it back, and then just couldn't quite have it in her grasp. I think that's actually a really good point. So we always get marquee characters, and for a lot of players who maybe I would classify you, and I think you would as well, as an end game player, correct? I think that's a pretty safe assumption. I mean, you have
for
accounts
my
all
main
over the place,
account,
but your main account,
absolutely.
I would definitely classify you in the highest echelon in terms of players, right? In terms of skill, account depth, and stuff like that. So it was always weird to me because like most people will watch streams and like new marquees would come out, and then the chat would inevitably be like, is this character good? And then you realize that these end game players are texting like armor before any other Mandalorian characters come out against like, Galactic Legends, full Relic 7 gas teams. And I always found it a little strange that people always assumed that every new marquee character, every new character was going to be able to beat these super powerful characters. Because from my perspective, being like 3.5 million GP, I have a good understanding of, some characters can beat some characters. Some characters, like, it's not even worth an attempt. Like, I'm not going to use my Night Sisters against a General Anakin Skywalker team because that'd be suicide. I'd be an idiot to do that. But there are some situations where, like, bounty hunters are a great example, where if I finagle some stuff, move some mods around, get some good speed, like, I can throw them against a Darth Revan team. So we've always had these expectations for myself, and I think a lot of people have kind of reached this point where they always expect everything to be good, and the meat of the game, and I think you'll agree now with the changes, is not at the Galactic Legend level, but like everything else you have to do around it, because Galactic Legends now just counter themselves. And I'm sure you experience this, and I watch your GACs and your Gambit podcast when you talk about this all the time. I think people don't pay enough attention anymore, as weird as it sounds, to like the actual meat of the GAC. What's your opinion on like unreal expectations and just people kind of losing touch with 90% of the actual GAC battles themselves?
I'm glad you brought up expectations. I think that's a huge part of enjoying like anything, really, like including a marriage and stuff. Like in life, I think managing your expectations and frankly, like that's the lens I saw everything through. I was like, okay, can I do off meta because it's so fun. It's so fun to be able to use like a lesser team to take down these big guys,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes a high degree of skill, and you have to get all the mods right, etc. And so that was kind of how I was defining my enjoyment of the game. And honestly, like in a way, I feel excited about the game being, even though it's going to like where they're taking some options away. Like there's a lot of increased complexity to all of this. Like actually being able to see, kind of being able to see the game as like you say, it's going to be Galactic Legends versus Galactic Legends, and that's basically it for Galactic Legends. Like there's going to be this really interesting part where we're gonna have to somehow find a way to test how you can do a cleanup on a Galactic Legend without, or you're like, oh shoot, my guy, I only have 4 Galactic Legends. My guy placed 5. How can I kill that 5th one with off meta teams? Like, how can I multi-shot? So there's going to be like that complexity. Then, but you're right, like the middle stuff does kind of just get ignored a lot. And I think like General Skywalker especially, he's going to be a menace, man. I don't know
I'm
how
scared.
we're going to deal with him.
I finally got him 7 stars. I'm scared. I don't got the relic mats, man.
Dude, he's going to be tough. Like I don't know. Mirror used to be really, really. I mean, it is currently very stable. Like you can win for bad banners if you want to do the mirror, but when he stands up after 5 turns, I think that stability is just going to go away entirely. So I'm excited just because we can start exploring. Like some of these teams become so much more relevant now that they've set like, okay, well it's like honestly Galactic Legends in a lot of ways are just like ships now.
Yeah,
it's like okay, you go and kill all these teams and everything, and then you go into ships and you're like, okay, enter new game mode.
Exactly.
So Galactic Legends obviously they're going to interact a little bit more in the squads arena, but area. But I do for GAC, it's like we have 3 game modes a little bit, and it increases the complexity in my opinion.
Yeah, you mentioned something about multi-shotting teams, and that's something that I brought up in one of my videos about the Executor. It's a great ship, and you probably won't be able to one-shot it reliably with anything outside of an Executor. So what do you do if your opponent places theirs on defense, you place yours on defense? You have to have 4 fleets anyway. Like, is your 5th fleet going to be strong enough to beat that maxed out Hound's Tooth that just got its like 100% health and protection back, and maybe they have a couple of bounty? Is your 5th fleet going to be good enough? And that kind of transfers over into characters like you said. What if you have more Galactic Legends on defense than you save for offense? What are the teams that are going to need to be saved? This is where the theory crafting comes in, and I'm actually also really excited. What are the teams that are going to be like, this team counters this, but what are the teams you're going to have to save for? Like, well, if I can get 3 out of 5 guys out of this Galactic Legend lineup, what is the squad that I know will be the counter for Kylo Ren? Not Kylo Ren, because you're not going to place him on defense, but like Rey with a little bit of turn meter, and Poe's still alive, and like Holdo's there. Like, what's going to be the consistent counter there? And I think that's where the good GAC players are going to like make their profit in terms of whatever the currency is, all the theory crafting, imaginary Bitcoin that everyone has. I think that's going to be the new exciting point of the game. Do you have any secret stuff? Obviously, probably not, because the changes haven't gotten line, but what's your opinion on these second teams that are going to be thrown in? Are there teams that you like, fleets, characters, GLs? What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting. And unfortunately, one of the main players in that mess up parade, because people fail against Galactic Legends all the time, and you have to find something to clean them up with that isn't just another Galactic Legend usually. But like Thrawn is just not. He's like, I'm retiring, hanging up my hat. Like he's like, I'm still good against like all the other teams, but Galactic Legends are too much, man. Like.
Yeah, I'm just waiting
I'm a genius. I'm not a super genius though.
I'm waiting for the Ahsoka show to come back, and then Doja to be like, surprise, he's back, baby. We're reverting all changes, and it was just some sort of April Fool's joke that lasted 8 months or whatever. I'm really waiting for that to happen, but I think that might be a little bit of a stretch. But a boy has to keep up hope, or what else is there to live for? I thought GL Maul was coming, and that's what kept the fires of my heart burning, and now it's been kind of doused a little bit, but we got to find something new to hold on to hope. So Thrawn will be back. Mark my words, guys. Let me know if you think I'm crazy in the comments. So last point for this video.
Maybe they just give us a Galactic Legend Thrawn who
that would
the
be pretty
exact
dope.
Same character,
but his fracture works, and it works against raids.
Works on GLs. Yeah.
Raid call him Intergalactic Thrawn.
That'd be sweet.
He's the next year. That would be pretty awesome. All right, so we're gonna do one more topic here, and then we're gonna hop over onto your channel. So if you guys haven't checked him out already, I'm gonna put all of his links and stuff in the description. I'll probably put Gambit, your Twitch, and your YouTube channel, so people can find you no matter what time of the day you happen to be partaking in some Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. But last thing before we go, we've talked about some things that we're kind of excited about. and some things we're not so excited about. Is there something looming in the distance, either positive or negative, that you think hasn't gotten enough attention by everyone? Maybe a change that people haven't realized implicates things in other ways besides, like now Gas is not going to be on a Kenobi team, is going to be with 501st. Is there anything that you think has gone under the radar in terms of everyone's viewpoint of how changes are coming or new characters or stuff like that?
I mean, I made a video just the other day actually about they made a really cryptic answer that like Doja doesn't have to answer anything, and it's it was on the Discord chat. So especially like someone tags him, they're like, "Hey, is tenacity and potency, are they going to scale with relic levels?" And Doja could have just been like, ignore, just like, or he could have just said no. But what he said was, we'll have more on that later. Which to me means like, okay, something's gonna happen with potency and tenacity. I think that's gonna change the dynamics dramatically. I mean, you can't offer too much speculation, but if you have to think, if they're gonna change potency and tenacity based on relic levels, or at least some interaction with it, you have to think that other stats are potentially on the table as well, including like speed on relics. I hope not, but
do you think there'll be like a big jump from Relic 8 to Relic 9 to where like, entire teams are completely useless if you have a one Relic 9 on the opposing team? Is that what you're thinking? Could happen.
Well, I mean, think of this. So maybe not. I doubt it'll be Relic 9, but think Relic 10, and you add that relic level. They don't add stats. It's just plus 20 speed for that character.
Oh God.
What happens? I don't know. I have no idea. That makes me cringe real hard, but I mean,
because some stats like potency and tenacity already have like that disparity. Like you have a chance to like fail, but you don't have a chance to like auto win. So like you can fail on something that should be 100%, but you can't accidentally succeed on something that has no chance of happening. So there's already a disparity in some stats. I think secret changes to speed and stuff like that would also throw kind of an imbalance into these higher end relics. That's something I've started noticing a lot more, is debuffs don't land as well as I would like, even if I have good potency, or debuffs land too often if my tenacity is in a bad spot. So it's actually a really good point. I have that video. This is gonna be really coincidental. I have that video in my list of things to watch later from the other day, because then I had school started and I had to go there. So it's on my notepad. I'm going to check that out right after this. And I highly recommend that you guys check that out as well. Perfect segue. We're going to head out and hop over onto your channel where hopefully I can get some better lighting. I don't know if you knew this, but we're doing an episode of APGAINS at night right now, which is just APGAINS, but it's harder to see me because I don't have any lights on. So a little fantastic. Any words to the 69th Precinct before we leave?
Man, thanks for suggesting this collab. This is fun. Yeah, come check us out, guys. It's fun. It's a good time.
It is a good time, except for when Solo's there. He brings the energy down so much.
No one likes Solo.
Yeah, I don't even think
he's a necessary evil.
Yeah, he certainly is. I'll get Solo on here. I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, I love you, and I'll see you guys later.